And so previous videos I kind of went through a disassembly and things to look at on the receiver, in the stock, the wood, the receiver, that sort of thing. What you're going to see here now is I've stripped this stock. You're seeing the stock that is 100% stripped of its finish. I have not laid one tiny bit of sandpaper on it yet. For those of you that think that you're going to start sanding these things to get the finish off, you are incorrect. That would be a hideous mistake. So what this incorporated was zip strip to remove the finish, and a lot of hot water to rinse off the zip strip, neutralize it, and get all the old finish off of it. And then you're going to want to use as hot a water as you can get to soak the stock for 10 minutes or so. And what you're going to find out is that will take and raise a lot of the dings and dents out of it. And then while it is still dripping wet, you're going to want to take and put this thing back together with the trigger guard, the barreled receiver, and the hand guard and barrel bands to let it dry. That'll keep it all lined up so that as it dries, it conforms to the barreled receiver. And in this particular case, a couple things I want you to make note of is I've got a a front barrel band that I've removed the stacking spike out of, so that it will allow me to get to the wood better, and especially in front of the barrel band. This is my one I work with, and then I have another one here that when I put it together, I put the barrel band at the back where it belongs. I also put one here in the middle while it's drying, so that because of the nature of the way these are assembled, it gets smushed here a bit from the rear barrel band, and this can cause some warpage. So when I figured I'd take advantage of the fact that when the wood is soaked and wet, I can put a barrel band here in the center, and it will keep this hand guard straight in line with the stock, so that it doesn't warp. You see, so that's a plus. And but you're looking at it how it came out. That is completely stripped now. So I got my work cut out for me, and then you're just going to want to, after you get it all stripped, put it in the stock wet after you soaked it and rinsed it off thoroughly with inside and out with very hot, as hot water as you can get. You're going to want to put it together and just let it sit till it completely dries out. My case, I usually let them sit about a day. Then I can take it apart and start working with the wood over and doing my metal preparation on it. So that's where I'm at on it right now. Okay. Now the very first things I deal with when I'm starting to work the thing over, working the wood over on it, the stock. The very first things I do after it's stripped is I'll clean the finger mortises, both sides, and you're going to need a moto tool and some form fit tools for it to get into the finger mortises, and the rear sling cutout are separate projects. Those are pieces of work that you do separately, that I do anyways. They're each one has its own little process I go through. You're going to need mostly a Dremel, a little bit of sandpaper, and you're just going to have to get in there and do it. But the point of it is you're going to clean this out with your Dremel and pieces. Clean that out without breaking down the edges. Same thing with the finger mortises. You're going to get in there and clean all that out of there. Get that wood smooth and finished again without breaking down the edge around it, which requires some expertise and a good eye and a steady hand. Okay? But that's the first things I do after I get the stock stripped and I'm ready to start working on the woods. I clean out the finger mortises and the sling cutout. Those are, like I say, those are two separate projects all by themselves. Okay. Well, I hope you can see this, but if you look, I got the finger mortises cleaned up, squared away. Came up pretty good. When I do the rest of the stock, those will be just perfect. And here's the left side one. See how that all comes out squared up like that? You don't want to get in there and start sanding the crap out of it like so many people I see do. They ruin the stocks doing it. They ruin it. They think sandpaper is their friend. Sandpaper is not their friend. And here's the sling cut out. I got it all squared up, cleaned out. Right? So those are two things that I take care of before I really start heading into the stock with both feet, so to speak. Alright? Okay, I'm just giving you a little view here of the preliminary fitting of my the handguard to the stock in the with the barreled receiver installed. This is how it's supposed to look, guys. You see this? That is how that seam is supposed to look right there. It's supposed to be square and tight. Okay, let's turn it around and get a look at the other side. Okay, and here is the other side. Once again, you're looking at that seam to be square and tight to the point where you really can't even see it there if it's done right. Now you guys that get out there and start sanding the living bejesus out of the handguards and the stocks, you're ruining the wood on these things. And being that these stocks are numbered to the rifle, there's only one of them in the world. You only get one chance at doing this. So step away from the sandpaper. This takes time, it takes patience to get this all set and fit right. Okay, don't be ruining, just turn it loose and put it up for adoption or something. Don't ruin the darn thing. And of course, once again, this whole section here in front of the front barrel band, that is another prod, just like the finger mortises and sling cutout. This is a separate project. This is one of the last areas that I'll work with on the stock as I finish it up. But now the only work that's left on this now, it's fitted. The only work that's left is to just basically clean up the wood cosmetically. But it's fit, and that's how it's supposed to be right there. Okay, going over it with the to clean the wood up a little bit. This is the first rough redoing of it here, and just I said the front section because at this point I only do from the handguard forward, so everything from here back has not been touched yet. This is from the handguard forward, and this is, I consider this a section. And as I said before, I haven't touched this up in front of the front barrel band, so this is everything between the back of the front barrel band and the back of the handguard. This is just kind of cleaning up the wood right now, but as you can see from the prior fitting of the handguard, that now as I clean this wood up, that seam is becoming virtually seamless. And a couple tips here, because of the nature of the smooth flat surface here, virtually all the sanding on this can be done with a sanding block. I only use hand sanding on it to kind of feather everything out and smooth it out after using the sanding block. But great deal of this, most of it can all be done with the sanding block. So let's turn it around and take a look at the other side. Okay, once again, this is the left side. Here I've done from the back of the handguard forward to here. Like I say, you keep the handguard and the front of the stock together. You never sand those two separately. You'll end up ruining the seam and the edges on it. You won't have any edges. But as you can see, the wood is starting to come clean on it. And as I refine the finish on it a little bit, it'll come out. You'll see the wood grain. You actually see the beauty of the beechwood starting to come out more and more. There are some imperfections in it. If you can see this, it's got a bit of a a divot there. That's just part of the rifle. That's going to be in the wood. There's nothing you can do with it. If you're going to start chasing these imperfections and these marks on them, you will end up ruining the stock chasing after them. So some of the stuff that is in the stock just remains there. It's just part of the character of the rifle at this point in time. That is from its years of service in the field. After all, you got to remember, this particular one is early 1944, 54, 64, 74, 84, 94, 2004, 2014. This rifle is 73 years old. It's older than me, almost. Well, it is. Let's see what you boys look like after you're 73 years old. See if you don't have a few dings and dents on you. But anyways, that's where I'm at. That's my first finish. Now what I'll do is I'll separate the receiver from the stock, and I'll start working on from here back on the stock. You can kind of see quite a bit of difference between what the wood looks like just having been stripped clean with nothing done to it yet. Of course, I did clean out the sling cutout and the finger mortises, but you can start to see how the wood, when you clean it up, how this beechwood starts to the blondness of it starts to come out, and it brings out the this one's going to have some really nice wood grain in it when it's all said and done. So, all right, guys. Okay, peeperonis. I got it the preliminary cleanup done on the stock. It's not finished yet. This is just I've gone through it one time, gone over it to get an idea what all I got here. Kind of gives me a better idea of the character of the stock and where I got places I need to concentrate on. But as you can see, it's coming out pretty nice. And I tell you what, when I select the beechwood stock, one of the primary reasons I select them is because beechwood's hard to deal with. If they have a lot of soiled areas on it, meaning discolorations, that discoloration doesn't want to come out of there. This one I saw, in spite of its having some dings and dents on it, I could tell that the wood itself was pretty much would clean up well to where it wouldn't leave any nasty stains on the wood, discolorations that are so prevalent on beechwood stocks. But I got it framed out, so to speak. Like I say, as time goes by, I'll refine the finish on it, and this and that. But so far so good. It looks like it's going to come out pretty well. Let's turn around. Let's see the other side. Of course, as you can tell, it's quite a bit. Looks quite a bit different than it was when you first saw this. It's cleaning up pretty good. As you can see, I've got the finally ended up doing the front of it. That came out well. So far I'm pretty happy with it. It's got good grain pattern in it. So I think I like this. I think this is gonna work out pretty well. Like I say, I've just this is just a preliminary go over I've done on it. As I little bit here, I'll go over it and refine the finish on it and stuff before I actually put a finish on it. But it's got a couple marks, dings, dents here and there, but I don't think anything that is a deal breaker. So there you go. Okay. Hey guys, here's a little view of the stock here. Pretty much got it ready to have some kind of finish on it. So this is the finished, unfinished stock, I suppose. Just kind of give you a look. I say it's, you know, they're not perfect. 70-year-old stock, can't expect it to be perfect. It was used for military service. However, I'd say it's not too bad either. It's light years ahead of what it was, I'd say. But I think it's going to come out nice. It looks like it's got some really good marbling on it. And so I'm gonna see if I can't maybe put a finish on it a little bit later today, and go from there. Let's take a look at the other side. And here's the left side of it. Looks like it all came together pretty good. All came together, fit real well. All went back into the barreled receiver real well, bedded the way it was supposed to. When I'm done with this, I don't see any reason why this rifle won't shoot great. So anyways, I just wanted to give you all a short little view of what we got here. Okay? Well, here's a first look at the stock after I've, of course, as you saw, the work that I did to it, but this is with the finish on it. So let's take a look at it, see how it turned out. Like I say, I don't do these to be perfect. I do them to be right. And a little bit of something you're going to want to know is, and this holds true for beechwood particularly, and walnut too, is that your sanded stock, your finished sanded, unfinished, without a finish on it, you're going to see that it comes out pretty benign. But as soon as you put a finish on it, it brings the color and the wood grain out, but it also brings out the discolorations and imperfections on it, as you can see. But at this point in time, there's very few of them that are a little more than just blemishes, discolorations. They're not really any kind of damage into the wood, although there is a few of those too. Like I say, these aren't perfect. This is a 73-year-old stock, but I think you get the idea. And as it went back together here, it all bedded well. The barrel preload at the muzzle end down here all came out the way it should. But here you go. Just wanted to give you an idea of what the finish looks like on it. So let's turn it around and take a look at the other side. Okay, and so here is the left side of it. How it came out. I decided to use a linseed oil finish on it. I find that to be a good sturdy finish, good protection on it. It seals the wood up pretty well, and it also provides what I would call a pretty darn close representation of what the original military finishes were like on it, with the exception of the fact that when I put the finish on, it actually comes out better than the original military finishes, in that because of the wood preparation I've done to it before I put the finish on it. But so there you go. And once again, you can make note of how well all the how it all come together. The handguard and the stock all fits pretty seamlessly. Finger mortises are square, tight, not rounded off, not sanded all out like you see so many of those things done. It's kind of a travesty when I see that happen. And so it retains its mil-spec contours and edges and that sort of thing. It also retains some of the things that came with it after 70 years of use, which is, I think, just adds to the character of the rifle. I'm not trying to eradicate its heritage, so to speak. After all, this thing was around before most of you people watching this were even alive. And but for an original rifle that was, I think that was issued, never rebuilt by the Arsenal, I think it turned out pretty good. This, like I say, this is an original piece. So there you go, guys. Next work to be done on it is I need to do my metal preparation on it, all the parts for it, because this rifle will get Cerakoted. Probably have it done in armor black. So there's quite a bit of metal preparation I have to do before I can give it to my Cerakote guy to have him do what it is that he does to it. So, alright guys, there you go, man.